and nebzetroc. I'm saying it with an accent.
That's me. That's my name backwards, by the way.
Yeah. It's funny too because like your name already is like a little easier to spell. So when you see it backwards, you're like, oh yeah, no, I can see that's his name backwards. That makes sense.
Yeah. Hopefully that people catch up on that. But
If you do mine backwards, it's a mess.
oh yeah, Yanaj. I don't even want to do Rosencrantz. Oh my god.
Oh god, Zenekron. Close enough.
God, yeah.
But
close enough. It's okay. Are we live? Are we good?
I think we're live. I think we're good. Yeah.
Oh my god. What the hell?
So we're I think you could pull up my my Twitch. I'm actually gonna do I'm actually gonna pull it up on my phone because it's easier to manage the chat. Yep, yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're good.
Sweet. Oh, look at you! You did a little post about it too.
I did, yeah. So in case anyone wants to see, I know I was gonna have Eric join at some point too, but I didn't want to do it like right away because I figured we can do one-on-one. You know, if he wants to join, he can join. But let me see if he's around. But yeah, man. So it's been a while, but we've finally finished the Disney era of Star Wars here.
Oof. Oh boy.
I know, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because you and I first, I think, look at this, November 28, 2014. I think we watched the original Force Awakens trailer, the teaser trailer, together.
Yes, we did. We sure did. Very special day.
It was
for a lot of us, and it's the start of a very rocky 5-year journey. Let me tell you.
That's the thing. Yeah. When we really think about what the trailer did, for me, when I first saw it, okay, like I don't have to necessarily watch it, but we could just go through it. You know, it's the first time within the first couple of seconds. It's the first time we've heard John Williams' music in years.
Oh God, I know, and that's the one constant. Let me just get that out of the way. Is the musical scores? You know, that we can all agree, hands down, best part of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that gets going, like you said in the trailer, it gets the hype going immediately.
Yes.
You know, it's right off the bat. Ugh. Easy way to. But yeah. So the trailer. Which one are we talking? Are we talking about the teaser trailer or like the first full trailer? I forget.
Oh, I'm sorry. The first, it's called The Force Awakens official teaser trailer #1 from November 28th, 2014.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so you got it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. God, okay, so that's the one that ends with the Millennium Falcon.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The beginning is a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it right now.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead and watch it. Do your commentary, and I'll kind of
Have you felt it?
I'll pop in with you too.
There's been awakening. Have you felt it? Finn's head comes up. It's tense. It's tense.
Remember when everyone thought that was Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
Just by the voice. I remember that. They were like, "Is he in the movie? Is he not?" Because he just did Khan for J.J. Abrams, so they were like, "Is he going to be some kind of dark side guy in this movie?"
Right, yeah. That's the funny thing. Like, we didn't know anything. That's so funny. You're right. I remember this shot right here. It's Kylo Ren.
Oh God.
Let's out the saber.
That got everyone talking, man. That was the shit, right? When he pops that saber.
Look at that. Yeah. He stops for a minute. And that's funny too. This is a shot that's not in the final film.
Yeah, I know. I think that's just kind of one of those like trailer shots where they're just like, "Hey, film this so we can put it because it looks cool and we're gonna put it in the trailer." You know what I mean?
It looks amazing.
Because you're right. In the movie, he already has his saber popped by the time they reach him, and it's kind of like, you know.
I think he's got the saber popped and the hood down.
Yeah, he's waiting for them. So, but we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, hold on. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, leading up to this, hype was at an all-time high, right?
Yes.
You know, first Star Wars, and how many years? Like 10 years, I guess, because 2005 was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Force Awakens was 10 years later, 2015. So you know, it had been a while. No one knew that this was coming because after Revenge of the Sith, George definitively said there is no Episode 7, right?
He
So,
did. Yeah.
so this came out of the blue. We were like, all like, you know, holy shit, losing our minds. We were all pretty hopeful, right? Because, you know, the prequels didn't age well over time. You know, I have a very big fondness for those in my heart still,
Same.
but
Same.
I recognize that they're not very good. But you know, I think people were just drunk off the hype because it was like the prequels had, you know, like I said, they didn't, you know, stand the test of time. So we were like, what's gonna happen? Is it finally gonna be good Star Wars again, kind of thing? So um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, do you have anything that you remember like leading up to the movie's release, like any specific hype memories or points, stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah. It's weird. I remember. I think when did they? It was 2012, right? When they announced that Disney was buying out Lucasfilm. I
Yeah,
think
because yeah,
officially.
you and I were still in school, and
Yes. Yes.
yeah, like that next day we like met up and we're like, what the hell is going on?
I remember just being like, okay. So I had a weird relationship with Star Wars in high school because I grew up with it, and then I guess just being in high school, I had this you know, shift of interests and focus, and you know, I got more into music and other things and whatnot. So
Yep.
not that I didn't watch Star Wars, but I hadn't really kept up with it in a couple of years, and then I really got back into it like junior year, senior year, and then I remember talking in my physics class in senior year, like, hey, what if they made an episode 7, you know? And that's when I started exploring the expanded universe, because at that time I knew little bits about it, but I didn't really dive into what this expanded universe was. I just kept with, you know, this is Lucas's trilogy, this is Lucas's prequel trilogy, this is Star Wars, you know. But then I started
Hmm.
reading these ideas, you know, with the Thrawn stuff, and then the
Oh,
Yuzong Vong. I can't even get
oh, the
into.
using Vong, my dude.
Ah,
Yes.
so that was you know, and I was only catching up on it with Wikipedia. I didn't even have the books at that time, so it was just internet access on Google
Yeah,
Chrome
for
in physics
sure.
class. But
Yeah, no, I feel you. And that's also what was crazy was like they kind of, I think I remember them taking a while to announce that the canon had been nuked.
yes,
I
yes,
think because like I feel like for a while we weren't too sure if they were gonna be like adapting the Thrawn trilogy or like the Yuuzhan Vong invasion or like, you know, like if they were
yeah,
gonna, because we were like, well, there's stories out, you know, after Return of the Jedi, like what are they gonna do?
right.
And then they, you know, nuked everything, of course. But I remember there being that confusion for a little bit there, right?
Yeah, and you know, it it's one of those things where as a creative person, I feel for these people who spent 25 something plus years writing these stories to have them just no longer be meaningful anymore.
I know.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, as this industry and this corporate creative giant to come in, you know, I get it. They want to tell their own story. They want to be able to say, hey, look, this is what Star Wars is now.
Yep.
You know, you have your things that you've heard about, and I honestly like. I at first I was hesitant with like the first shot of Kylo Ren. The first concept art I think was actually there's like a leaked picture of him, I think, walking away after he burnt the village at Laura Santeca's place on I guess that was Jakku. Yeah, Jakku.
Jakku. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, you sought the leaks. You went
yeah,
to the dark side. Oh.
but not
Ooh.
not heavily. I only looked for concept art. I kept
I know.
myself.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like I did with Rise of Skywalker. That's a whole other story. But no,
Right.
the first shot I saw of Kylo Ren, I was like, oh fuck, that's Revan. That's Revan. Like, you know, I
Oh
was
yeah. Yeah. His mask. I was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and with the hood and the mask and everything, I'm like, okay, what are they doing? And then
Right?
I think there was something else that leaked. I want to honestly say that around that time the concept art leaked of I don't know if you remember it. It was like a shot of almost like a snowy mountain, not a mountain, but like a snowy hill, and there was like a Snoke like Palpatine like dark figure on top, and then like a
Hmm.
girl with a lightsaber and like a Kylo-esque type of figure. And I think at that time they were still
I
rolling.
vaguely
Do you
remember.
remember that?
Yeah.
Let me see if I could pull that up in the chat in the on the stream. It was like concept art Kira. I think I spelled it wrong. It was like
Yeah, yeah.
it was supposed to be like a take of Kira from George's original ideas. It was a oh, here it is, here it is, here it is. Yep, right here. Um, there's like a figure of something that looks like a character of the dark side with a breathing apparatus and like a orange blade. There's a
Hmm.
wounded
Oh my
character.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah, and
Well,
then
maybe I didn't see this one. Let's see. Let me get to where is that on the Twitch stream or whatever?
yeah, yeah, you can see it on my Twitch stream.
Okay, let's see what we got here. 'Cause I
These,
don't remember that image.
yeah, this
Not the way you describe it. Let me see.
yeah, you'll see it, and it's funny. It's like it's literally I think this is actually now looking at it retrospectively. If you look in the background, it looks like there's actually the forest of Starkiller Base.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I do
Yeah.
remember that. My bad, my bad.
Mm, you're good, but I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh shit, those are trees. Is this supposed to be Rey and Kylo being wounded and Snoke like overseeing his wounds and like was this an original concept? Was Snoke and Rey supposed to battle? Like what's going on?
Right, unless that's like an early Kylo, because that there's a wounded guy right down there that could be an early Finn. You know what I mean?
That's true too. That's true too. Hold on, I just lost it.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, no, some of the and but this is the funny thing too. Like this is one of the first original concept arts I saw too. Of this like masked
Eh.
creature. You there? Hello? I think I lost you. Oh, you hear me? I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you. No! We're having technical difficulties on the stream. Did you mute yourself? Oh, oh, I hear something. I heard static.
Johnny,
Yep, I hear you now.
you hear me? Okay, sweet. I don't know what happened. I just unplugged my headset and put it back in. So my bad. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like avoid the internet now. I'm just gonna keep it to talking. Um, but
No, it's all good.
but yeah, no, like, and then there was that other shot of some character that people were saying it's Luke Skywalker with the metal face and the metal arm, and he's looking at Darth Vader's severed, burnt head.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of weird stuff that was leaked early on that I was like, okay, they're doing some stuff here that I don't know what's going on, but they're pulling from some of what I guess you would say now is legends, and I'm intrigued. I really want to know what's going on with the story,
Right. Yeah.
you know. And then,
For sure.
dude, then the trailer came out, and the official trailer after the teaser trailer, and I'm just like, okay, they're using practical effects. They're really trying to do something with this story after the Battle of Endor. I think the
Yeah.
first official trailer was when Han's just chilling and he's like, it's true, all of it, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Or no, he rolls in with Chewie and he's like, Chewie, we're
Or
home.
we're home. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was important. But even that, it's like, okay, JJ was setting it up from the beginning, this whole mystery box thing, what the hell is going on with this story? Why are they at home now that they're on the Falcon? Why haven't they been on the Falcon? What the hell?
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And
Which I don't know. I mean, well, I was going to talk about how it ends up, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. You know what I mean? But Well, so opening night, you were there, right?
Yes.
Force Awakens.
Yes.
What were your initial reactions? Like what did you think
I
in the moment, seeing the film, doing your
yeah.
thing?
I I got there 3 hours early.
Ooh.
Because at this time the local theater near me, I think at that I'm trying to remember. I go to this like mom and pop theater around like, well, not around the corner, but very locally to me, and
Oh.
I think around that time they still didn't have assigned seating, but when
Oh, sure.
The Last Jedi came out, they had reserved seating. But at that time, I remember just being like, "Look, we got to get there early. We got these seats. I just want to get in there." And
Yeah.
excuse me. And dude, the line was huge. Even like when I got there 3 hours early, there were two other people. And then by the time that the 2 hour mark hit, the hour mark hit before the movie started,
Damn.
dude, there was a line. People were just so excited to see this. And
Oh
then
my God.
when it started, I remember the I remember leaving the theater being like, "Wow, Star Wars is back. This is it. Like I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's a new generation, but JJ's doing something, and I have high hopes for this trilogy." But I remember my initial experience was just like, the opening shot still to this day is highly questionable for me of whether or not. Um, I love the opening of Empire. I really do, because it's like small, it's simple, and then it's like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Revenge of the Sith, up until um, The Force Awakens, has been my favorite Star Wars intro, though. Like,
Wow, look at that.
yeah,
Okay.
it gets you right into it. You're like, oh shit, what's going on? Like you
Yep.
see the scale of Coruscant's city just
Yes.
expanding the whole planet. You see this star
Mm.
war going on, and then you see like you see
A Star
you
War.
do you know.
Go figure.
And you get a sense of, oh shit, Anakin's a fucking good pilot. Like we've heard the stories, but we haven't seen him like, okay, yeah, he drove Padme on a couple expeditions to saving
A couple
Obi-Wan.
dates.
Yeah, exactly. A couple nights to Chili's, but um
Damn.
hold on, it says my connection's bad. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you
Okay, cool. But
for
but
now.
okay, cool. But yeah, no, that was a powerful intro. And then when I saw The Force Awakens, I was like, wow, okay, weird, old timey war camera shot of this transport ship of these stormtroopers, and then just right into it, there's a freaking chaotic village skirmish, and there's
Mm.
blood. Like Finn wipes blood on his helmet. Like,
Yeah, man, that was pretty gritty for Star Wars for sure.
yeah, and for Disney, I was like, okay,
Yeah. Really good intro for Kylo Ren too, because
Yes.
God, I remember that when he froze the bolt in midair, that blew my mind.
yes.
I was like, holy shit, because that was kind of new. We hadn't seen a frozen like a stasis force move yet, not in the movies at least, right?
Right, yeah, no.
So it was like, damn, that was so sick. And so yeah, I'm with you there. That's a killer opening.
I was, yeah. I
But
was
you know what
impressed.
else I like
What's that?
um, about that movie is I think it's the next scene right after Finn gets back and he puts his helmet on, and then there's that cut to Rey scavenging, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say, like, Rey's whole first scene, her introduction scenes are really good. Those are
phenomenal.
like genius, because there's not a single piece of dialogue. We go through her whole day, right? And we get the feeling, she does it over and over with the marking the tallies on the wall and everything, and we get a whole feel for her character with her theme playing in the background.
Beautiful theme.
Like I said, not a word of dialogue, but it's she scavenges, and then she has that moment where she looks at the old lady cleaning the junk next to her, and it's like you get the sense where she's like, oh, no, like I don't want to be doing this my whole life. And then she goes to her house and the downed AT-AT, which is sick, by the way.
Yes.
And she just like sits and eats, and it's like you don't see that real often in
Yeah.
the movies since then. It's like she just eats and she puts on her little rebel helmet and like smiles, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And it's like, man, like what a great character intro. It's like this is cool, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. She
Like
feels
it
human.
was really different. Yeah, it was new and it was kind of like exciting.
That's true. That's
So
real.
it was just way different from what the prequels how they set characters up, you know what I mean? So
That's true.
at that point I was like, I'm in. This is legit. That like the characters are already great. Like, cause Finn had a really good intro, Kylo Ren had a good intro, and then you have Rey, the main lead,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, movie, like you got me.
Yes. Yes. No,
So that
you're right.
that was the moment where I was like, okay, this is something else, and yeah, I'm with you, man. That first night seeing Force Awakens, so enthralled with the flick. You know, I think initial viewing, I really didn't have a lot of problems with it.
Same.
Now, now over time, when you think about it, it's like, oh, blah blah blah. But that first
Yeah.
night, I was like, man, I was high on Star Wars again. It was great,
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the
great
thing.
stuff.
Like, it's it's weird. I think I try to look for plot holes in movies that I actually enjoy more than I do movies that I'm like, okay, it's a movie, whatever. Which is funny because when you
Yeah.
really think about it, I think every movie has plot holes. Every movie has an issue. You know,
Oh yeah,
nothing's perfect, but
no,
and that's also something to consider when I think people.
except for Empire Strikes Back.
I agree. I
That's a
agree.
perfect none. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, but I think that's something that people need to remember also, because I think a lot of people want to hate on Disney. A lot of people want to hate on this trilogy, and when you look at these movies, you do sometimes have to take a step back and say, okay, these are for fun. You're supposed to let yourself just enjoy these films and think back to what it was like when you first saw it. That's really what it's about, you know.
Right.
Same with like a lot of times with music. Sometimes it's tough because at the same time I'm saying this and I'm like, okay, sometimes certain things need second or third viewings or listenings. But I think with Star Wars, it's like, okay, what do you feel when you first see it? It's supposed to be fun, exciting, just pulling you into this world of familiarity with adventure and coming of age stories and your suspense and your action, sure, but your general themes of good and evil and redemption and family and all these important messages that they're trying to tell. And yes, everything's going to have its flaws, and granted, I've seen a lot of analysis videos over the past 5 years now of The Force Awakens plot holes, blah blah blah, but at the time when I
Yeah.
first saw it, there's really only a couple that really stood out to me, and they're not even necessarily plot holes, they're just gripes I have with the movie. Like, we're jumping ahead, sure, but the fact that a lot of stuff is similar to the beats of the first Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
One thing that still to this day I just don't understand why JJ did is when freaking Han dies and Rey goes and hugs Leia before Chewie hugs Leia. I'm like, what?
Yeah, man, that's some bullshit.
When
JJ
yeah.
admitted to that. He was like,
Yes.
"Yeah, I fucked up. Like, I should have had Chewie," and like he said that himself, which I appreciate. So.
Same.
At least there's that. But
Yeah. It's just when I saw it, I was like, even in that moment, like the first viewing, I was like, what the hell? That doesn't make sense. But
yeah, for sure.
and it took me out. It did take me out. I'm not gonna lie. But the rest of it I thought was just done so well. And yeah, when I first saw the Starkiller base, I was like, hold on one second, I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you, my dude.
Sorry, thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you. But when I saw it, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
When I saw Starkiller base, I was like, come on, guys, really? But
Yeah.
at least in the movie, they kind of made a joke of it a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of that part was like, I feel like it was unintentional though, because we laughed, but I don't think they meant for us to laugh because they literally brought up a visual. If it's a scene I think you're talking about, where they're literally like, he's like, it's another Death Star, and he's like, it's not another Death Star, this is a Death Star, and then they zoom out, and it's like, this is Starkiller base, and I'm like, ha, That's fucking hilarious. But
Yeah.
I don't think they meant it for it to come across that way.
No, you're right.
I was like, dang. But
Yeah. I don't know.
it's all good.
Well,
Well, so here's the thing. Like initial viewing, like that night, that fateful night in
mhm,
2015.
mhm.
Very high on Star Wars. Very good stuff. Now, I
Yes.
will say this. I don't think it ages super well
No.
in for two reasons, right? One, the movies that immediately follow it really kind of like, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. The trilogy was not planned, right? They've been open about that. They've said it was more of a passing of the baton thing instead of like an outline kind of thing,
Right.
where
Right.
we're like, I do one film, this next director does another, and then you know what I mean? So like,
Yes. Yes.
so that just inherently, that's not how you plan a trilogy. Like that's not how you do
No.
it. Now, I hate to say it, but I think the next two movies retroactively kind of sour The Force Awakens just a little bit, and
Sure.
I think we'll get into that probably a little later when we get into the other movies, um, but also it's one of those movies like it's very exciting in the first viewing, the first few viewings, but when you think about it a little bit later, it's like, I don't know. Like you said, like Starkiller Base, being just another Death Star, um, certain things like just the over reliance on like, oh, we gotta have an action scene every like 5 minutes. You know what I
Right.
mean? That
Right.
was
Right.
one thing that I discovered like upon rewatch. There's like after the opening, like once Finn gets to Jakku,
Mhm.
um, there's very little sit down time.
Yes.
Um, right?
Yes.
There's Finn finds Rey scene. There's a chase scene, and then they escape, and then there's another action scene with Han Solo finding them, and then there's another one with the Ratars escaping,
I hate that scene.
and then yeah, I know, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. So there's action there, and then what happens next? They do settle down a little bit when Han shows them the map and talks about like the myth of the Jedi and stuff. That's cool,
Yeah.
but yeah, like all this stuff, it's like bam, 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 and it's like the rhythm is a little off at that point for me.
Same.
Um, but so some things I guess just kind of like I said, don't age super well. Um, but that being said, it's still my favorite of the new trilogy. I think Force
Yeah.
Awakens is still the one I like the most.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I I go between it's weird. Oh, so yes, but after I saw okay, so let me just first say um hold on one second. Eric's saying my stream's lagging. Oh, okay, it's good now. Okay.
No snap.
Um okay. Hey Eric, shout out to you. Thanks for checking out. Um
What's up, dude?
Yeah, dude, if you want to join a little bit too, let me know. We're just trying to get like initial stuff out of the way, and then we'll get another mind in here. But yeah, that was the first thing that I noticed, and it's actually funny you say this because this is something that I felt has been an issue with cinema since Half Blood Prince. I remember seeing Half Blood Prince in theaters and being like, "Whoa, this is a lot in the first 30 minutes." Like, what? Like, not even
Yeah, yeah.
the first 10 minutes. All of a sudden, it's like I think it's Half Blood Prince. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, okay, this happened, and all of a sudden Harry and the Dementors are chasing him, and then all of a sudden this and that and this and that, and I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it was just a lot, and when I read it as a story in a book, it was like, okay, there's a flow to this, and things are going on. I think there was more, monologue within the characters' heads. But when maybe that's the issue when you translate it to film, that it's just there's less to show with thinking and exposition, and more that needs to be done with moving the story along visually, but
Yeah.
but that's how I felt when I saw the beginning of this movie, up until exactly I think the point you're talking about when Hans introduced it. I'm like, whoa, okay, well. Granted, I'm sorry. There was a little bit of slowdown. I felt like with Ray meeting BB-8. I was like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
and it made me happy because I was like, okay, I'm really starting to like this character. She's, like you said, we get a lot of time with her within the first couple of minutes of meeting her. You're like, okay, she's been here a while. She's counting down days she's been here, I guess, and then she has sympathy for creatures that aren't just human. It seems like, okay, she cares for a droid, kind of like Anakin. I get it. Okay, what's going on? It's relatable to that
Yeah.
whole Star Wars hero character of being on a desert planet, whatever, getting out. I get it. Okay, cool. They're doing what they tried to introduce, but it's funny just as a side interjection because we're kind of retroactively looking at this as a whole now. I didn't know this, but I read recently that actually it was J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy's idea to have Rey be, for lack of a better term, a Mary Sue from the beginning. It was their idea to have her be this, like, oh, she's really powerful. She's gonna be this character that just kind of knows a lot all off the bat, and then she guys it goes on this journey, and I'm like, okay, that explains why her character is kind of I don't want to say flat, but it's not the same
Yeah.
experience you get when you see Luke and also Anakin.
Sure.
Like it's they're trying to make a Luke-like character with a whole typical hero's journey. This overcoming obstacles, facing adversaries and problems, and then rising above it and learning and becoming this master and blah blah blah. And then you have the Anakin Skywalker who, is really a tragic hero, and the prequels really gave us an interesting insight to Darth Vader. Like, my whole life as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, Darth Vader, whatever. He was a guy who kind of turned evil, but his son redeemed him. That's great, but I don't know him. And then the prequels came out, and I was like, you know what, George, that was a smart move, because now you gave us a character that's actually completely different from Luke. It's, and that's great. A different perspective. It adds to the story, it adds to the lore. That's
Yep.
one thing I will hand the prequels, dude. They were great at world building, at
Yes.
establishing this universe, and I feel like you and I kind of have this split, growing up in between both trilogies. We got into Star Wars as kids when it had already been out for like 10 years or so at that point, but
Yeah.
we also had new Star Wars movies 10 years into our lives, so it was like, oh shit, we've never not had Star Wars, this is great. And that's kind of how I feel. I feel like I've never not had Star Wars in almost the 30 years of my life I've been alive. It's great. It's been,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's why this new trilogy, I was like, okay, this makes sense. This has to happen. This is a good time. Let's do this. Let's be hopeful here. Fingers crossed. And,
Right. Yeah. For sure.
but I don't think there were any signs really of the flaws of the characters in the first movie. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, we're skipping ahead a little bit, but still talking about Rey, I guess. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I can relate to these characters. The setup was good. Like, JG did a good job setting up all these characters. There was so much potential for all of them, man. Like, and in fact, like, to talk about the trailer, that's something I want to say in the beginning. Like, what really hooked me for this trilogy was the tension, and all of a sudden, bump, and it's a shot of a black stormtrooper in the desert. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this? First of all, I've never seen an unmasked stormtrooper. I mean, aside from the Clone Wars series, but that doesn't count.
Yeah.
I've never seen a prominently black character like this in Star Wars.
Right.
I'm sorry, yeah, Lando, but you know what I'm trying to say. And then there were the rumors and stuff, and then like seeing him later on in the official trailer with Rey, I'm like, oh, he's a legit main character. He might be more than just the character that comes in the second movie. He's here from the beginning. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then
Because early promo stuff had him holding the lightsaber
exactly,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, and I'm like,
So you're like, damn.
oh shit, is this a stormtrooper who becomes a Jedi? Like they're checking off all the list of cool, interesting concepts that I've never seen before. This is great. Let's do this.
Right, right.
You know, and I have very, very little memory of any kind of press coverage of Poe other than seeing a guy that looked like Poe flying an X-wing. But
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah, not a lot of Poe in the marketing for sure.
hmm
I remember seeing something, and apparently he died in an early cut or draft of the film,
yes, yes,
right? But he turned out Oscar Isaac was so charismatic and sexy that they decided to expand his character, which thank goodness, because talk about having a Hispanic guy in a Star Wars film, like geez, we never had that before.
right, right, right.
So that
Yeah,
was something I was excited to see for sure. So
yeah, and he seemed cool.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, and what was cool about it, all the character setup was um I see I what was it was like I said earlier, like they only showed Finn with the lightsaber and all the marketing, which was pretty ingenious because what the movie ended up being about was Rey becoming like the Jedi and like picking up the lightsaber. That's what made I think my favorite is when she calls the lightsaber to her in the snow and it
Yes,
flies past Kylo Ren, right?
yes,
That was like was in so well set up. I think um, that gave me all the chills and emotions like in the movie theater seeing it for the first time. And
oh
like
yeah,
I said, the marketing for that was genius because we never suspected Rey to have that force power from the marketing standpoint, right?
I
Like from the
agree.
trailers and stuff, because
Yes,
it was just Finn. So
yeah,
that made it all the more impactful, I think.
I agree,
Um,
100%.
and I think that's what helped. See, I've always liked Rey. I've liked Rey. I still like Rey. You know, I like, you know, I think she's underwritten
hmm
because some of the stuff they set up in Force Awakens just isn't followed up on in the other films, which we'll get to,
hmm
I guess. But I never really, her being like overpowered and stuff. Like it didn't really bother me as long as I just liked her character. And maybe it's just because Daisy kind of played her in a real like charming way.
hmm
But I was always really behind that, and
Yeah.
and I the first films set up all this mystery behind her,
Yes.
um, and or not I mean mystery, yes, but also like plight, right? Like she went out to she was obsessed with her family coming back at the get-go,
Right. Right.
right? And that was kind of her whole thing, but she overcame that to go and find her true self, and that's kind of what her journey amounts to by the end of the movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so really interesting stuff and really solid foundations to build on, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll get into the Last Jedi here in a little bit, but
Yeah.
just keeping on Force Awakens, I think like I said, overall it does kind of show its wear, as it's kind of like just this really solid blockbuster flick.
Yes.
Yeah. After time, right? Like over time, it's just kind of like, oh, it was really solid at the time, but you know what I mean? But still a pretty solid film and solid foundation.
I agree.
And see, the thing about being the first in a trilogy is, the next two movies break it, and I think that's one of the things I meant by saying like retroactively some of the stuff just doesn't hold up, right?
Yeah. That's the thing. Um. I agree with you. What a lot of people were pissed when I'm just gonna just take it back 1 second to talk about it. Like
Yes.
when Rey kind of overpowered Kylo. At first, when I saw it, I was like, how did that? Why? But then I started thinking logically, and I was like, okay, no, 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 this guy just got shot by a bowcaster, which we've seen at full charge can like blow people up, basically.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and he was shot from a good distance. It looked like at least 30 feet, 50 feet. Like it was a good chunk of time had passed of that laser blasting his abdomen, and also he's strong with the dark side, dude. They can channel that. They can which let's bounce forward for a minute. I thought was a very smart thing JJ did when he's Ben Solo again in The Rise of Skywalker, and he jumps down into Exegol and he grabs onto the chain and he's like, "Ow!" I was like, he's feeling pain again because he's a good guy. I get it. Okay.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
smart.
That's what I'm saying. Like JJ should have done it all. But anyway, but
Yeah.
but no. And I was like, oh, and then he's like smashing his fucking wound with his hand, and he's bleeding out, and he's not even saying anything. I'm like, this is barbaric. This is Viking.
That was sick. I loved that. Yeah,
it was beautiful. And so and then
I adopted that a little bit in my ping pong games. I would walk up to the ping pong match and be like, let's do this. And pump my chest.
It works, dude. It's a animalistic attack. Yeah, I get it.
It does. It's so dope. But
I'm gonna try that at work. But
yeah, I mean, it's good. Power play, intimidation factor.
Exactly.
Play psychological warfare on them, my boy.
Yeah, no, he had it.
God, yeah, it was really dope. And I don't know. I guess I never had issue with the fact that she overpowered him because of what you just said. Because he was.
Oh, hold on, I lost you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, my bad. I don't know what happened. I think I turned my thing wrong.
Oh, it's okay.
My mic wrong a bit, but. Anyway, so he had just been torn apart, not only physically, but spiritually, too.
Yeah.
So, which kind of lends to the idea that, yeah, he killed his dad, and he used the dark side, but that didn't make him more powerful, right? Like he thought. So I think that her overpowering him in that moment helped lay a foundation, not only for Rey, but for Kylo, too. Because you get the sense of that's what he's been trying to do is you be this dark side guy, but doing dark side stuff like that isn't working for him. So you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was that's what I got out of it. And I was like, dang, that's pretty legit that they're kind of using that angle. And I think it went over some people's heads maybe.
Yeah.
Who were like, she just did this shit. She just, overpowered a fully trained Sith Lord, blah blah blah, and it's no, you gotta kind of look into it,
Exactly.
And then also going on Rey's side, it kind of, you get the idea that there was a reason that she, overpowered him, and going 2 movies later, they kind of explain that with her lineage, but at the time we didn't know. It was just all this kind of stuff had been set up on who she is, because there's a few times in the movie where another character will reference and be who's the girl or what girl, and then they'll cut away, right? And they'll cut away and they'll be what the hell, and that we as the audience are we're itching for more explanation, right?
Yes.
Her whole vision sequence in Maz Kanata's castle with the lightsaber kind of hinted at more stuff going on too, right?
Yes.
So kind of, taking the other 2 movies out, that's why there were so many theories. It's taking Force Awakens just on its own in a vacuum, right? You really get the sense that they're setting up Rey to have this huge purpose and have a reason why she's uber powerful kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Whether it's family, whether it's I remember back in the day I thought it was going to be kind of like a Knights of the Old Republic thing where she was trained but her mind got wiped kind of thing.
Yeah. I remember that theory.
Yeah, so something like that, because just by nature of the film laying that stuff out, you kind of get
Yes.
that sense, right?
Yeah, with Kylo
The
seeming like he knows her, it's like he did it,
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all those things that kind of bring it back to the idea of, I still say Force Awakens is a solid film, probably my favorite still of the new trilogy,
Hmm.
and it's a really good foundation for a lot of what could come later, right?
Yes, yes.
With all the characters, right?
I agree.
Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah. Did you have anything else on that notion, my boy?
Just yeah, no. When I first saw it, I think I felt the exact same way, but I remember feeling like, okay, with these purposely cut edits of, what girl, or who's the girl, and then all these immediate switching to different scenes. I was like, okay, she has an importance. She has something to be said that's more than, oh, you're nobody, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, JJ loves his mystery boxes, but there's a difference between setting up mysteries and setting up things that seem to be a little more deliberate. And I felt like, there was a mystery
Yeah.
with why is she so strong with the Force, who is her family, blah 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 blah, all this stuff. But when you have these more than one occurrence in a film of who's the girl, it seems like there's something there that they're not ready to tell the audience. And that was my biggest gripe. If you want to jump into The Last Jedi, we can, but that was my biggest gripe. Like, when I saw The Last Jedi, aside from the forced politics and the forced humor and stuff, it was like, okay, this is,
Mm-mm.
when I left the theater, I didn't know how to feel at first. I was like, I for the past 2 years.
The Last Jedi, you mean?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Because, like, for the past 2 years, I was like, I read all the theories, I speculated, and I came to conclusions in my head canon that said, hey, I actually early on kind of believed the Palpatine thing, because I saw
Oh my gosh.
I did, no, I did, because, like, it was crazy, it was radical, but I was like, you know what, I can see it, like, with her first initial strike on Kylo, which, by the way, she's the first one to initiate the strike. It's
Yep.
that teeth grinning, angry expression, that forward strike that Sidious does
Yeah.
against Mace, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, and then the second she channels the Force, if in the fight on Starkiller Base, she's going full dark side. Like, I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
She's attacking, she's slashing, she's trying to kill him.
Yep.
She wounds him, and he's down on his back, like, stop, please don't hurt me. And she's circling him, bro. She's like, you're my prey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you. And
Oh
and then
yeah.
and then the only thing that stops that fight is literally the universe, and the Force breaks the planet in half. And
Yes.
and it's
I
like,
think she could have killed him. She
she
might
could have
have
killed him.
if that canyon hadn't happened, if the split
Yeah, yeah,
didn't split them apart.
exactly.
So
And then,
yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's kind of, I mean, so here's what I kind of wanted the trilogy to go through. Kind of going off of that point
yeah,
is yeah, I would have really liked for them to Kylo and Rey to do a figure eight kind of thing where they, like, Rey switches while Kylo is switching, right?
yes,
I think that would have been a pretty interesting thing to explore. Um, and you're right, like Rey being kind of angry and dark side in the at the end of the Force Awakens kind of fueled that theory, and especially between Force Awakens and Last Jedi, the trailers for Last Jedi were really fueling into that idea, because they flat out show the scene where Luke gets afraid. He's like, I've only seen this raw strength once before, and he's like scared of Rey's power kind of thing. And then at the end of the trailer, Rey's like, I need someone to show me my place in all this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kylo holds his hand. I know that was trick editing, of course, but at the time we didn't know. So
Yeah.
at that time I was like fueled. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna switch completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like we never like really seen that
Right.
happen, you know?
So you thought they were gonna completely like switch sides? You thought that he was gonna go good and she was gonna go bad?
By the end of the trilogy, going off of
Mm.
just seeing Force Awakens, yes, I was like, I was kind of like, oh my god, like, because you know, Kylo Ren being going back to the light was pretty telegraphed, and it's pretty like predictable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was really, you know, I was hopeful that they were gonna try and do more ambitious stuff.
Hmm.
You know, with it, we're taking a little bit more risks and you know, and stuff like that. And well, we'll get to the Last Jedi here in a minute, because I know, you know, anyone who's, you know, might say, "Oh, Last Jedi took risks." Like, no, like we'll get there.
It's funny
We'll get there.
It's
We'll
fun.
get there.
As
Yeah,
much.
go on.
No. It's just as much as I had hoped that too. It's weird. I felt like Disney had a weird position, or Lucasfilm, whoever you want to blame responsible. They had a weird position because if they had Rey if they had Rey go go bad, it kind of would have been the same thing we had just seen in the last Star Wars trilogy with Anakin being good and going bad. You know what I mean? And then
That's true. You got a point.
you know, and then with Ben going good, that's more either scenario. You know what? No matter what you say, like any scenario really could be predictable, and that was my biggest issue with how it ended. But one of the thing I liked about The Last Jedi was going into it when I first saw them holding, like, reaching out the hand to say, like, I need a teacher, and Kylo's like, yeah, join me. I was like, oh. And then with The Last Jedi trailer saying, you know, it's time for the Jedi to end, I'm like, oh, are they gonna talk about the Gray Jedi? Or is this,
Oh yeah.
you know, is this where they're hinting at? Because you know, when the novelization of The Force Awakens came out and people were talking about it, how Rey literally downloaded training from Kylo when she was being interrogated, I'm like, oh, there's a connection there. There's something
Yes.
going on. And then in that movie, right off the bat, which, by the way, you know, I know you're not a huge fan of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
What makes that movie for me, and I'm very, very, very thankful that JJ carried over into the last film, is that Rey and Kylo connection. And
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like we'll get there, and my views for Last Jedi have really fluctuated way more so than any of the other films.
yeah,
I still don't like it, but I rewatched all the films leading up to Rise of Skywalker, and it's like I was too hard on it. It's still my least favorite. I think it's still my least favorite Star Wars film in general.
less than Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just the things that people, you know, discuss with Last Jedi. You know, let's just get into it. What do you think?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's do it.
It's Last Jedi time.
Yeah.
So, I'll talk about the things I liked first.
Sure.
Because yeah, it's like you said from the trailers, you kind of got that idea that they were going to do the Gray Jedi thing, and yeah, like, I do agree. Like the way I thought it was going to go with Rey turning dark and, you know, Ben turning light again by the end of the trilogy, like at least the Kylo, yeah, it would have been similar, but I guess what I meant was, like, it hadn't really been done with a new character. Like Anakin, I know that's how the prequel trilogy was, but we knew how that was going to end, right?
Sure,
Like
sure.
we knew he was going to be Darth Vader. So I really thought they were going to try to do something, um, because of how the marketing was with Last Jedi and with how the Force Awakens kind of wrapped up.
Yeah,
Um, so you know, going into it, gosh, let me try to gather my thoughts a little
sure.
bit. I guess, and so the first night, I'll go over that, I guess, and then I want to hear your initial
Yeah, 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 yeah.
thoughts
Good thought.
too,
Good, yeah, the
like we did with Force Awakens. So, man, I remember I was super hyped, right? Because I love Force Awakens. I ate up all the trailers for like Last Jedi. Um, was very careful to avoid spoilers though, but I did watch the trailers because I really I'm a trailer like nerd.
same, same.
Um, so I really dig those trailers, and I got there and I watched the film, and kind of right off the bat, something wasn't right.
Yeah, yeah.
And what it was, and rewatching the movie recently, it's like what it was the your mother joke, like
Right off the
right
bat.
off the bat sets off a really weird tone, for me, because I remember in the theater, like I kind of like chuckled, but then I was like, wait, why am I chuckling? That's not funny.
Yeah,
Um, it was weird. It was like you're starting off this exciting escape scene and battle scene, and Poe is just, he's like, I get what he's doing. Like I get he's, stalling, but it was just, I guess it was the way the humor was presented. I was like, this is weird.
it's
Like
not
this
Star
is
Wars.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was different, man. It was like, what are they trying to do? Because like, I don't know. I can't. I still can't put my finger on it to this day. To be completely honest, so I can just, and I can. That was weird to me. Like that didn't. It was strange writing. It's like, what? Like what are you doing?
I think, if what makes it, I don't want to say passable in my mind, because I hate it, but it's a generation thing, I think it's like, okay, how, how do we introduce the Star Wars tale to, what's the generation under us? Z? Is it Z? Generation Z?
Z, Z, I think something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
that's Z and whatever's under that. That's how I view it. I'm like, okay, the current humor at the time that these films came out
okay,
was a little more marvelly, a little more um, on the
sure,
nose. It's not smart humor, not dry humor or anything like of the original saga. And then there's really no humor in the prequels. The humor that they do have is like
sure,
is like just obvious humor that you're like, oh, that's just funny because he said it's funny, but it's not really like, ha ha ha, let's like put a joke in here. There's no forced jokes. It's just like Obi-Wan would say something to Anakin. I can't even think of a particular reference, but you know what I'm saying. And it's like, um, oh yeah, 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 they're having banter. That's fun. Ha ha, the situation's funny,
yeah,
you know. But
sure,
the your mother joke is so not Star Wars. No matter what era you're in of these movies coming out, it's just like, that's the thing, dude. Like Star Wars took the concepts of things from this world and applied them to a fantasy universe that happened to be a sci-fi-esque theme, and told it in an original way. Then The Last Jedi comes out and it's like, let's force real world politics into this movie from the get-go. And
sure.
and let's have this agenda that's obvious now. And I'm like, Disney, what are you doing? Because leading up to this, like from all the press releases, from all the theories, from all the concept art, from everything I knew, avoiding leaks, because I still avoided leaks at that time, it was like, okay, exactly like Ben's saying right now, they can switch roles. Kylo and Rey can become opposites, but at the same time, I was still fully convinced that Kylo and Rey were like this yin yang of the Force, and I
Yeah,
thought at the time, to be honest with you, I abandoned the Palpatine theory and I went with the theory of Rey is either A, a reincarnation of Anakin and the Chosen One, or
Yeah.
B, Rey is the embodiment of the cosmic force.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like literally coming to balance out the first real threat they've had since Vader and Sidious, which is Snoke and Kylo, and
Yeah.
which I guess is kind of a chosen one type thing, if you want to say it that way. But
Sure, sure.
I was believing certain things, and then you know I was so pumped, more than I was for The Force Awakens, to be honest with you, because I was like, this story has so much potential to go somewhere now. Where is it gonna go? And
Yes.
um, and they didn't start off on a good foot, but I let it go because I was like, okay, it's Star Wars, it's a kid's film to some people's argument. Let's go with it. All right, fine. Um, the new age, new generation argument, fine, we'll go with it. And then
Yeah.
thankfully after that we had a pretty cool space battle. Um,
Yeah, I do like that. I do like the rest of that. That's pretty
yeah,
exciting.
yeah,
Because you get to see Poe do his thing more,
yes.
which I really appreciate.
Hmm.
You get to see more of his skill.
Hmm.
I agree. I like that. I like that space battle. It's kind of weird that the bombers just get serrated right off the bat, like they're made of
Yes.
paper mache or some shit.
Yes. Oh,
But like it's fine. It's a spectacle. Like it was neat. Like it
yeah.
was fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you want to use logic to it, it's like, why the fuck were they using those bombers and not the freaking the Y wings from the original trilogy? What are we doing here?
Yeah, yeah, good point.
But
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but
but I think back to, the original trilogy, and it's like exactly like you say, it's a spectacle. I suspend disbelief for a little bit because it looks awesome. And
yeah,
dude, the one thing I will say, like, you might hate me for this, and people might have a disagreement with this, but dude, what I like about Rian Johnson's entry to the saga is, it is out of all the films, in my opinion, aside from the original, I'm sorry, out of the new ones, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I think it is the most consciously aware of detail and shot presence and everything. I think that the cinematography is the best out of the new movies. I think
yes, I agree.
it's just like,
It looks the best.
it's
It has a very, very how do I say God, I don't even know. Like the style of the visuals is
yeah,
very striking.
yes,
Um,
the subtext.
Crate is awesome, and the yeah, just all the visuals are really well done. I
So
agree with
good,
you there.
so good. And dude, like, when it like slowed down for Poe to be like, I'm sorry, I don't know Rose's sister's name. When he's like, what are you doing, whoever, you're the last bomber, and then like,
Yeah, I forget her name too.
and then it puts on that high pass filter, and then the music kicks in, and you're like, oh shit, and it slows down a little bit. You're like, this is a war movie for a minute. I'm like, this is gritty. This is,
Yeah,
oh, and then
yeah,
I love that shot too, man. I really love that shot a lot, where she embraces her necklace, and then the bombs drop, and then she dies, and then it's just like, oh man, dude. And Leia's mourning the loss of all of the fleet, and I'm like, yes, this is
yeah.
this is
I
gritty.
agree. At that point, I was into it. I
Same,
agree. I was
same.
like, damn, that's legit. Like they're doing something with this.
And then the next
Um,
scene too, dude. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're fine. I was done. Go ahead.
The next scene, it's like you see Hux like seeing what happened, and he's just like, oh shit, okay. And then instantly it's like, oh, Supreme Leader Snoke wants to talk to you in his quarters, and Hux is like, I'll take it, in my quarters. I'm sorry that I said the line wrong. And then you're
No,
like,
you're good.
oh, it's gonna be like
How dare you?
it's gonna be a Sidious Vader moment. And then Ryan's like, let's kind of subvert the audience's expectations with that too. It's not going to go the way it did in Empire. He's going to appear as a hologram in front of everybody on the main bridge and humiliate this character, and he's going to show off his fucking strength of being able to not only force choke someone, but like force take down someone and spin them around through a hologram. And I'm like, Oh, Snoke is very scary. I loved that dude. I was like, oh shit, this is everything I wanted from Snoke's character. I want to see him be raw and evil and powerful.
Sure.
And I wasn't a fan of the fact that they humiliated Hux, but at the same time, I can't say I didn't see it coming, because it's like, where would his character have had a role next to Kylo and Snoke? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel you there, because I was I was bummed at that. I was like, oh
Same.
man, like they're, because I was getting kind of into Hux's whole deal when he gave that speech at Starkiller Base.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, man, this guy's a maniac. Like, holy shit.
yeah. Radical Nazi.
So, like, he had a pretty strong presence in Force Awakens, but then, like, yeah, that was right off the bat. And I guess that's another thing, how he was just made to be a bumbling idiot right when Poe made fun of him at the beginning. And then to get tossed around like a rag doll the whole movie, I was like, I'm not into that. Like, it's kind of weird. But I do agree. It was nice to see like Snoke actually like do a bit more, and like show how powerful he is by, like I guess at the detriment of Hux's character, it was neat to see Snoke do that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, go on.
No, you're good. I was just trying to think what the next scene was. I think it cuts to Leia slapping Poe, and then
I think so. I can't remember if that's first or yeah, that's first. But then when does it show Finn waking up? 'Cause that's one thing that I wasn't.
There.
That's one thing I was like, oh, like, okay, so going back to Force Awakens, Finn got his like fucking spine slashed up by a saber.
Yeah.
Like, and you're telling me 1 hour later he's completely fine because he's in like a juice sack? Like,
Is that the time?
that was weird. That was whack, dude. I was like, I get that. I mean, not that I didn't want Finn in the film, because I like Finn a lot, but like, I was hoping for like some consequence to that fight that he did. Like I was like, shit, is he gonna be like confined to like this like a wheelchair? Is he gonna have some kind of space apparatus that he like while he's healing? Like, I don't know. Like I was like damn, because like what the like he got his back sliced in half.
He did.
Like, how is he gonna? You know what I mean? Like, they never followed up with that. So everyone's talking now. Okay, jumping forward a little bit. Everyone's talking about how like Ryan Johnson, or sorry, how JJ undid a lot of Last Jedi, but Ryan did it first. It's like he's like, I don't care that Finn got hurt. Like, I'm not gonna follow up on that. He changed the placement of Kylo Ren's scar because he thought it looked cool.
He did.
What's with the continuity? You asshole. That was the first. I was like, ugh, that's weird. You remember that?
I do.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, no, yeah. You and I actually we had a conversation about it when we first heard that was a thing, and both of us were like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's like that should have been our first like red flag. It's like, why is he doing that? Especially if it takes place immediately after.
Can I interject? Is it really only an hour? I was under the impression it was 3 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for some reason I heard it was 3 days after the events of.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm only going. I haven't heard, but I'm going off after the fact. Literally, Rey on the island takes place a moment after the end of Force Awakens. So I don't know if it's. I assumed it was at least the same day, right?
I guess we need to consult the novels and the plot, the screenplay.
God damn it! I hate consulting outside bullshit. I like. All right.
Either way, no,
I'm getting a little saucier because we're talking about Last Jedi now. So
that's good. I'm ready.
That's me when Last Jedi gets. I get saucy when Last Jedi gets brought up. So okay, I'm just gonna Google how long after TFA does TLJ take place.
It's important information.
Because at least with Rey, it's instant, right? Which I know if they want to do a little time stretch thing, you know, with the others, with the B plot, they can. But Sorry, I'm looking up
No, no,
just
no.
like
Do it. Do
Reddit and Quora and stuff. Apparently, the internet's confused too, and there's no
it.
clear. There doesn't seem to be a clear answer other than it's just right next to it. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time because I don't want to
You're
waste
good. You're good.
time just searching. But
It was some
but
time. It was short. It was a short amount of time. It wasn't enough time to
yeah,
have him healed properly. I
not enough
agree.
time to heal from a fucking back wound when Kylo Ren's like he just got a slice on the face and that's still like a gaping. Huh. Come on. I
No,
don't.
I
Okay.
agree.
Okay. We're only in the first two scenes. Jesus Christ.
No, you.
Okay.
That's the thing. There's a lot to talk about with this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till we get to Rise of Skywalker. We might have to split this up, man. This could go into like 8 to 12 hour territory, my dude.
We'll have another stream. Yeah, we'll make this one. We'll summarize this one in a different way. Now,
Yeah, it's all good.
yeah. See, it's funny because um, I have this weird thing where I actually kind of agree with Ryan's placement of the scar, but I don't agree with. I know, but I don't agree with him changing it.
No, I'm with you because it does look better where it is in Last Jedi. But if you're gonna like, it still bugs me a little bit that
Yeah.
he just ignored, um, continuity that
It
way.
it ruined
You know what I
me.
mean?
It
It's
ruined
just
it. Yeah.
like it's fine. Like I get it, but it like there's always gonna be that little thing where it's like it's not consistent. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. But and it's the thing, dude.
Uh,
Like it's little enough where it's like I take this particular set of movies so much more seriously than any other set of movies that that bothers me enough.
yeah,
And oh, hold on, my headset's like breaking.
you're good. Oh
But
no,
no, you're good. It's just old.
force heal it.
I'm trying. Oh God, let's get into that in a little bit.
God, that's a whole beast.
But yeah, that should have been a sign from the beginning. I think you're right, and the thing is too, like when we're seeing this movie in the theaters and all this shit's going on, I'm not really thinking about these things at the time. I'm like, okay, where's he going with this? Like, where's he gonna take us? And I'm still pretty intrigued because Ray goes to talk to Luke, and then okay, that's something I think we should talk about because I'm sure you absolutely despise it when Luke just tosses the
Ooh, boy.
lightsaber.
Okay, here's the thing. I've talked about this at length with you and a bunch of other of my friends. Here's the thing about Luke in The Last Jedi. Luke exiling himself and being cut off from the Force and him having the notion that the Jedi need to end. Fascinating. Right?
Yeah.
Really interesting. That's a really interesting concept and something they could have done something really interesting with, I think, because it's like, holy shit, like what happened to Luke? But the reasoning of him leaving or exiling himself in the first place is really whack and is not Luke, and I'll get into that a bit more, here in a sec. But also, my other point to why I ultimately didn't like that part of it was because the movie ends up contradicting itself because. Again, like the notion of the Jedi ending is really fascinating, and it's like, wow, yeah, like that, paves the way for, like you said, like gray Jedi, people who don't belong to either side, like his spiel about the Force belonging to everyone and not just Jedi or Sith is really interesting, and I was like, wow, like that's a really neat thing to take this in, like. Everyone like could have the Force kind of thing, like it, like it's new and it's different, and that part of the film I really appreciate and I like. Right, Luke as a character, him, even though it's just a moment of weakness where he pops his lightsaber out to potentially kill Ben, nah, that's bullshit. That is 128% horseshit. Um, and I'll tell you what, this is the gentleman um, I mean, just think about it. It's his nephew. It's his blood. This guy refused to kill his father, on the simple fact that he felt good in him, that he's his father, right? And Obi-Wan told him to kill Vader. Yoda told him to kill Vader, and Luke, like, he rejected that. He rejected the Jedi. He's like, no,
Right.
I'm not gonna do it. Like, my whole childhood, he was like, he was, the ultimate beacon of purity and hope, because yeah, he did, have his moment where he snapped, right?
Mm.
And he had that moment where he almost, took Vader's spot at the end of Return of the Jedi, but that was when he overcame that. And it's like, yeah, okay, like real life, yeah, people, fuck up and people change. This isn't real life. This is a fantasy movie. And Luke overcame that. He can't overcome that twice in, the span of all these movies. We've seen that before. It's like it's no good. But it just doesn't make sense. It's like, he had his own ideal that didn't align with the Jedi in the first place, right?
It's true. Yeah.
So like, this is Leia's son. Leia is the person that he snapped over in Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is Leia's kid, like, and it's like, another thing I have about that scene is that we're never shown what Luke saw, and I think that's another reason that it didn't go over well for me. Like, if if they did a scene of a vision that he had, like, maybe I could have, rolled into it more,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's true.
he just told us. It's the classic show don't tell. It's
Yeah.
he just tells us, I sense darkness in him, and at the end of it, or he was like, I sensed I can stop it, and that's when he pulled his saber out. And it's like, well, he just told us that. Like, we didn't see what he saw. You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
There's
Yeah.
just a lot about that just doesn't add up, and it's like the presentation of it, the characterization. It's just like, no, like, that part of it I don't like. Luke exiling himself, cutting himself off, if for good reason, very interesting, very fascinating. But that aspect of it, I hate. I can never get behind that. That's no good. No good. No, sir.
Can I can I add my take on it? Because I know this is one of the things that we disagree with this part of the movie.
Yes, and I'm sorry that I took up a lot of time ranting about that.
I want you to rant as much as you can.
It is your turn, my dude.
No, just
Please.
before I forget, it's funny because I don't disagree with you at all, because I totally agree, and
Yeah.
I think a lot for me is, now that I'm older and I've heard more stories and I've gone through weird shit as a human being, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's cool when these characters are more human-like and they're a little more relatable. And for me, Luke Skywalker was my hero my whole life, and that's a big thing. But at the same time, there are things in my mind that I don't want to say justify this particular part of the movie, but I understand a little more why the decision was made. And I think one of the things was actually kind of, what you said with Luke never really following the Jedi to an extent. Like, in the Return of the Jedi, we see him as a Jedi Knight, and he's in all black. The first encounter we see of him, he fucking force chokes Jabba's guards out, and I'm like, that's not a Jedi move. He's using a dark side power.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, like, in that whole movie, even when he, like, beats the shit out of Darth Vader, like he's using the dark side, but he's more Jedi than even Yoda and Obi-Wan, which I want to tie back to what you were saying. Like Obi-Wan and Yoda were like, "Hey, you need to kill your father." That's not very Jedi-like at all.
Right, right.
And Luke's like, which I'm not saying is a justification for any of this, but it ties into why I understand Luke thinks the Jedi Order of the past needed to end, because he's like, okay, yeah, and I actually I've seen a lot of theory videos that say how Qui-Gon was actually the last of the real true Jedi at the time of the
Yeah.
Republic.
Which, yeah, you and I have talked about that, and
Yeah,
that's pretty fascinating to me too.
yeah, yeah.
Is for sure.
You know, he he was separate from their bullshit and their political manipulation by the Republic, and he
Yeah.
was he was still like the Force. We have to do what the Force wills. This is true devotion to the religion.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
you know, and he did do some mind tricks and take advantage of people when he had to, but fine. He's doing what he has to,
He's a
and just
cheater.
yeah, a little bit, but he's doing what the Force willed, and I get it. I get that. I think that's an interesting thing and this is the thing that I actually love the most about The Last Jedi is it brings into question everything we knew about these characters, the Jedi.
Yeah.
I think an interesting thing that the prequels showed us is, hey, you thought these guys were this holy religious sect. They're not. They're corrupt. They're, to some people's point of view, they're the bad guys of the whole thing, And I get that, and that's what I liked about The Last Jedi with Luke saying, at the height of their power, they allowed Darth Sidious to become a thing and Darth Vader to become a thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's dark. Like, go ahead, Ryan's
Yeah.
pointing out all the things about what we love and showing us that it's not that black and white, and I
Yeah.
loved that. I loved
Yeah.
that. And like I said, with the whole marketing of the film, like this gray area in between everything, I'm like, fuck yes, dude, that's what this movie's about. I get that. I'm cool with this. Let's go with this direction. But it is weird because I guess for me, as much as I think that, yeah, Luke was this savior, he was this guy who overcame these things, and no matter what happened to him, he still believed in the best of everybody. I still think that he.
Uh-oh. Hey Johnny, I think I lost you.
Oh,
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you now. I think you cut out for a second.
Oh, hang on, 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. I think the one thing is, like, Luke never really had full, proper, old school Jedi Order training,
Sure, yeah.
And as far as I know, the last time we saw him as a Jedi Knight, he was about to kill his father using the dark side. He was about, the whole thing that started the fight was, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna save my friends. I'm gonna fucking kill this Darth Sidious guy right now, and his father stopped him. It's like, I'm not saying it's justified, but for me, it's a little easier to digest, because I'm like, I've never seen Luke really be properly trained as a Jedi. He's always been like a little rebellious. He's always been tempting with the dark side. He's always been a little more dark, and
Sure.
I took it as, okay, he started his own order. He did what everyone asked him to do. He was living up to this legacy, this legend of this character that people thought he was, and then it didn't work out. And I'm not saying that he never really faced failure like that before, but I relate to it. I'm like, okay, what would I do if I was in his position? And he had everything he built towards fall, and the one thing he couldn't stop is his own flesh and blood. The closest thing he could have had to having his own son, his nephew, and he couldn't stop his nephew. And I think what he saw was Snoke manipulating him, and he was like, oh shit, Snoke is so powerful, I can't stop him. He's gotten to my nephew. This is bad. And I didn't view it as like, I gotta kill my nephew. I viewed it as, I have to stop Snoke. and what?
Maybe. I mean, I see that. I see your point, but at the same time, after seeing the movie, he in that particular scene where the truth is revealed, he
Mhm.
doesn't really. I don't think he mentions Snoke at all.
He doesn't.
It's
No.
strictly Ben and all the destruction that he could bring.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but um,
That's true. That's true.
but I do feel you though. I really do, and I go back to my point about I would have rolled with it more if they had shown us what Luke saw. Right?
Yes.
That would have gone a long way, I think. Um, and if it doesn't have to be like this horrible, like R-rated, like mangled, body of, I don't know, just something that gives us the idea of why Luke, this guy that we, know and love, who was the redeemer.
Oh, hello.
Um,
Hello.
hey, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. No, I hear you now. I heard. Luke,
Oh, I'm
Luke.
sorry.
No, you're
Did
good.
I break out?
Yeah, I think it's just the internet. Luke being a redeemer. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I just think if yeah, I mean just saying that again, I guess
Sorry.
why Luke would think about killing his nephew, that we really needed to see what he saw, I think.
I
And
agree.
especially with the fact that, I mean, jumping forward in the future a little bit, with how much good ended up being in Ben Solo at the end, right? Like,
Yeah.
how could he see something that made him want to kill Ben when he was a good guy? Like, he sensed that in Vader, so why it just doesn't sit well still. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And like I said, if they showed something, maybe it would have worked, but with the way it was presented in the movie, I can't get behind. You know what I mean? But I do feel you though. I really do.
No, that's a good point. And that's why I'm glad we're doing this whole thing with discussing it all as a whole unit now. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's I'm trying to like avoid not talking about the Rise of Skywalker just yet, but like yeah,
Right.
it's weird. I liked I liked the what I liked about The Last Jedi is I liked that they presented a, a a subversion of expectations. What I didn't like is, yes, I think they should have showed a little bit more detail about what was so dark that he felt like he couldn't change it. Now that I've seen The Rise of Skywalker, knowing that Ben comes back, I totally 100% agree with you. They should have shown us something extremely fucked up. They should have showed him slaughtering a bunch of people, no remorse, maybe even killing Leia or something crazy. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, like you could have seen like Han and Leia's deaths
Yeah,
from that or
yeah,
something, right? Or like something. I don't know, something.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Because like holy shit, it's just I don't know. I feel I've probably said more than I need to on the matter, to be honest.
Well,
But here I'll tell you this though. If we're gonna talk about Luke a bit more, I will say that I fucking love the crate confrontation, right?
yeah, yeah.
Really sick stuff. Like, because here's the deal. Like, there's a lot to go into with that whole scene, and some people don't like it. Some people like, whatever. I'm talking. Sorry.
You tell him. You tell him. I love it.
I'll tell you guys. So, it's I love that scene because that is kind of him force projecting to stall Kylo Ren for the Resistance to get to escape. That kind of force power to me is like exactly the kind of Jedi force power that like a master like him would be using.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, it's like it goes back to the philosophy that Obi-Wan talks about in A New Hope, how there are alternatives to fighting, right?
Yep, 100%.
And even in real world, like that's one of Bruce Lee's things too. Is like in Enter the Dragon, he's like, I practice the art of fighting without fighting, and it's like, holy shit! Like this all stuff is so fucking awesome because it's when they cut from Luke's hologram to him like fucking meditating over the rock floating. That was like the one part in the movie where I was like, fuck yeah, like I cheered. I was like, that's fucking badass.
Yeah, yeah.
It's because so Jedi. It's like it's exactly, it's not about, because through Empire we've always been taught it's not about the physicality of what you can do. It's not about how well you can fight. It's not about how heavy the thing is that you can lift. It's not about any of that. It's about, you know, using your mind to outsmart your enemy, for one. That's why a Jedi mind trick is a Jedi power. It's about, you know, subversion of violence, right? Which kind of goes into the whole monk aspect, the Jedi keeping the peace. It's just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's just such a neat idea and scene, and it's filmed beautifully on crate. It's like, because and at first you don't know, you're like, what the hell's going on? But then you're like, oh, I get it, and it's like, oh, rad. Like that alone really brings Last Jedi up for me.
Yes.
But then they fucking ruin it by just having Luke piece the hell out immediately and just die for no reason. It's like, what the hell? Like, so using your force depletes your health, and then you just piece. You're like that meme of the guy piecing.
Well,
it's like as much as I love that scene, I do not understand why Luke had to die at that moment. I really don't. And it's like, and it's also because like you have like 3 death fake outs in a row, right? Like, because he first gets blasted by the AT-ATs, and it's like, holy shit, did they just blow Luke up? But then he walks out and, you know, brushes his shoulder off, and it's like, wow, that's badass. He gets sliced up by Kylo's lightsaber, and you're like, oh crap, like, so Kylo killed him, and they're doing the Obi-Wan thing.
Yeah.
No, he's alive, and you're like, oh, that's badass. But then he just dies for no reason, and you're like, what the hell?
I think,
and that's kind of another thing about the movie as a whole, is like, how many death fake outs are there? There's like, Finn gets a death fake out scene, Leia gets a death fake out scene. It's like, fuck off with that. It's like, it's enough. So, but sorry, bringing it back to Luke, I don't get why he had to die in that moment. I think it undercut the impact of that scene, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
I'm sorry, I had another.
No, I understand.
Saucy bit.
It's weird. Like, I was. I don't want to cut her off. I hear her talking.
So, no, she's just going off in the back. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I don't know if she can hear me. I don't want to cut her off.
She's having fun.
I'm glad.
Hi, babe. Hello.
No,
sorry. Go on.
No, you're good. It's funny you say that. Like, I was sad that he died, but I was okay with it, because I was just like, you know what, he was a piece of shit this whole movie, and then he's like, I need to do something right, and then he's like, hey sis, I'm here, I'm gonna kiss you on the forehead, and then she's like, I forget who says what at that exact moment, but they basically mutually agree that there's no saving Kylo at that point. So there's like a mutual understanding. He's gonna go out there and just fucking kill him, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna go kill Kylo, okay. And then when he gave his life, I'm like, this redeemed him, this whole movie. I was like, yeah, he's gone from being this hermit to now being like, I'm gonna give my life for this whole resistance, for my sister, and to show Ben that, dude, you're gonna be haunted now between killing your father and now basically I don't want to say killing your nephew or your uncle, I'm sorry, but you know, inadvertently being responsible for your uncle's death now to keep you at bay. And for that,
Sure.
I was like, okay, but it kind of ties into the whole did we need to see him redeem himself? Could he have just not been Luke Skywalker Jedi Master from the beginning? So I get that too, but
Yeah.
I
Well, like, here's the thing though. It's like if he was gonna sacrifice himself from the get-go, why didn't he just show up to Crate on his own? Like, why didn't he? Because obviously through Rise of Skywalker, we know his X-wing was still functional, so he could have just shown up in person and be the same goddamn thing. Why'd they have to fake me out 3 times?
Which
with
is
his death. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
actually
what the fuck?
a huge continuity error that I still don't understand, because according to everything I looked at, that X-wing was waterlogged, dude. There was no that it couldn't use. It couldn't work.
One of the like wings or something was like the door to his hut. Like he dismantled parts of it, and it's like, nope. Like, we gotta like reset Last Jedi bullshit. So let's have him rise a thing. Too little, too late, JJ. Too little, too late. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, no, it's okay, because I mean, I think a lot of what people have heard and could say about The Last Jedi has already been said for the past 2 years, because it was such a divisive, controversial film. But it's weird. I actually love the movie, because it's the first Star Wars movie that I can say there are moments where I completely, absolutely love this movie, because it's got this subtext and this visual and this story that I'm like, oh my god, this is rich. I love it. And at the same time, it goes against so much that I knew about these characters and this lore and everything. I'm like, I freaking hate this movie. It's weird, dude.
Yeah. Isn't it weird? Because I feel the same way. It's like like I said, rewatching it, I was like, okay, I found more to like. Like, I get it. I still say the Rey and Kylo bond is the best part of the whole trilogy.
Yes.
And it was really kind of like seated in Last Jedi, so I appreciate that for it, for sure. Mm-hmm. When I first saw the movie, I really didn't like the Holdo stuff, but I really did come around on it on my last rewatch, because it's kind of the idea, like, her not telling anyone the plan, like, is frustrating, but they kind of present it in a way where it's like she had always had the plan to sacrifice herself. Because right before Leia gets on the transport, they have a dialogue where Holdo is like, someone has to stay behind to fly the bogus transport. Mm-hmm. So you get the idea that it's like, oh, well, she just kept that to herself because she was going to be the one to sacrifice herself so that no one else would, like, do it. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
It was that kind of thing. That it finally clicked for me. Like, all these years, I was like, Holdo's, like, bullshit. Like, why didn't she just, like, tell everyone? And, like, yeah, it's still frustrating, and it's not really presented in the right way, but, like, finally I understood. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I was like, oh, okay, she wasn't, like, totally being a complete asshole. She was, like, she was actually, keeping it to herself for the reason of, she was going to be the only one to fly the bogus transport so that everyone else could escape, right? So that I appreciated. Rewatches do help, and like I said, there are much better things that I found from Last Jedi. And again, like it's like you said, there's parts I love. There's like the throne room scene is really, really good.
It's up there. It's up there for me.
Really, really good. But that's the not only the conflicting feelings that we're having, but I feel like the movie just contradicts itself too much, because you get the fight scene in the throne room and you're like, badass, like, they're gonna join and they're gonna, like, and then Ben or Kylo has this notion of, let's just let everything die and let's turn our back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, that's great. Like that's what we've been talking about. Like that's badass. But the very next scene, the status quo is just reset back to what it was. Like Kylo's evil and Rey's good. Like nothing changed. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
that in itself is like, why would you present that if you weren't going to follow up on it? Like you're contradicting yourself. And it's the same
Yeah.
kind of thing with the notion that the Jedi needed to die. It's like, dude, like I like that idea, but what the hell were they like taking? Like, where were they taking that in the movie? Because you get Luke saying Jedi need to end, right? Get
Mm.
it? Good.
Yeah.
Luke goes to destroy the tree carrying the sacred texts, and he can't do it, but then Yoda does it for him, and Yoda agrees. He's like, yeah, the Jedi need to end. But then during his speech to Ben, he's like, I'm not the last Jedi, alluding to Rey. And
Yeah.
then it turns out they didn't even need to destroy the tree because Rey took the sacred text. So, like, what are
Yeah.
they trying to say? Like, are the Jedi dying? Are they not dying? You know what I mean? It's like,
I agree.
have a clear thing. It's like, people are always like, oh, Last Jedi, like, sucks because the theories don't pan out or some bullshit. And I'm like, or people are like, oh, you don't like The Last Jedi because, you know, this, and that. I'm like, no, I don't like The Jedi because it's not very well written and it's a shitty movie and it doesn't make any sense and it contradicts itself and the messages are all like, you know, twisted and turned and you know what I mean? It's like, man, like all these things. Ugh.
I feel like no, I 100% agree with you, and that's what bothered me when I first saw it. I remember leaving the theater, and at first I was like, I was bothered because the things that I had believed in for 2 years were not answered. I was like, okay, so wait, Snoke was just killed, and I don't know who the hell he was. Okay,
Right.
and then Rey is a nobody, which actually after the second or third viewing, I was like, oh, that's a powerful message. I get what he's trying to do. Okay, and
Yeah, I agree.
you
I'm
know,
with you.
but because of the, going back to what we were talking about with the Force Awakens, dude, they I don't care what anyone says. Those purposefully made cuts away from who's the girl or what girl, blah blah blah, told me as an audience member that Rey was someone, that there was something about her, and to have her just be a nobody, it didn't make sense. Cause, dude, Kylo like made it seem like he knew her before. He made it seem like there was a connection that he knew of, and to make her be a nobody, I
Yeah.
was just kind of like, that doesn't feel right. And then,
Yeah.
I've heard the whole argument of, oh, it's just like audiences in 1980 when they saw Luke, I'm your father. No, it's not the same thing because there wasn't anything in New Hope that set it up to be that, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And it just, anywho, to move on from that part, it just like, for me, I think I agree with what you're saying. I think the execution of a lot of these things wasn't the best, but I also think that Ryan was trying to do a lot in a little amount of time, and I'm without a doubt thinking that there was a lot that was cut, and what was cut might have told us a
Sure.
little more, And I think another thing is too. I think I hate to say this because I don't want to sound like a pretentious asshole, but I think with the Last Jedi, there's a lot of stuff that unfortunately you need to like think about more, or like, or you know what I mean? Like even what we're talking about now, it's like, I didn't catch the Holdo thing until you said that. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, you're right, or
Yeah.
I didn't see the major importance and the symbolism and all the stuff of the crate scene until I watched analysis videos on it and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I think, which is cool because it makes you feel like it lends more from being a blockbuster to actually being a film, for lack of a better
Yeah.
term, which is the thing I like about Rian Johnson's entry versus JJ is like, I hate to say this, but I feel like JJ made blockbuster films, and then, or sorry, blockbuster movies, and then Johnson made a film, because it's like, dude, we're talking about this. I'm not talking about the Rise of Skywalker in a way other than like as a Star Wars fan, but I think
Well, we'll get there.
yeah, well, yes, yes. But I think that people talk about The Last Jedi as film lovers because there's so much subtext and things that Johnson doesn't tell us explicitly that it's like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
which I kind of agree with. I agree and disagree. Like, I agree with JJ's whole notion of, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about with him saying on that ABC interview that, you know, I don't think people go to see Star Wars for the meta story. They go to they want to be told what's going on. They don't want to, you know, be told what they're seeing doesn't matter, or whatever his quote was. And
Yeah.
but at the same time, I liked what Johnson was saying with like, hey, I'm going to show you something completely different. Like, you're not used to this. I'm going to subvert your expectations. I agree with that. I just think that the way he could have done it could have been better. It could have been less sloppy, and it could have made more sense.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes. No, I'm 100% with you because, like I said, like the ideas are there. Like
Yeah.
it's all there. It really is. But it's just the execution and all the contradiction and the messaging being so murky is just what kills it for me. Because if it had been consistent, if it had been like yes, the Jedi are definitively dead, the sacred texts are destroyed, like we're going another direction with this kind of thing, like yeah, like absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like that's not what happened in the movie, and it's like what, like well, what are you trying to say? That's what I've been trying to like get at is like what
Yeah.
exactly was he trying to do? Because he made a whole movie about tearing up the past, but by the end of the movie, that's still what's held sacred to like the characters. You know what I mean? Kylo
Right.
is still an evil asshole, and Rey keeps the sacred text. It's like what like what's the message? What are you trying to do? So I really do. I really get it, and I do appreciate that about him wanting to make a more meta Star Wars film. Like 8 films in, like yeah, that's what we got to do. But it really needed more fleshing out. It really needed more of a focused thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was just too wild, man. It's
Yeah.
not there for me, you know.
It that's the thing. It's like I like when we're talking about it. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like certain parts of it on their own, and
Yeah,
when I think about it as a whole, you're right. Though I'm like, I guess the message was the main message to me was okay. Failure is the greatest teacher. Okay. Um, the second message is, I guess, let the past die to a certain extent, and
yeah,
and
right.
yeah, exactly.
But not the sacred text.
No, exactly. And then the third one, I guess, is like anybody can be a hero, which I think should have been the main message. I think that's actually a beautiful message, and
Right. I'm more than okay with that. I was
yeah,
more than okay with Rey being no one, and even for Snoke like piecing out. Like I was like, okay, like this is what I'm talking about like subverting expectations in the right way. It's like, yeah, break that down if you're actually going to do something with it.
yeah,
But no, like they kill the supreme leader only for another supreme leader to take its place, you know? They let the Jedi die only for Rey to keep the text and teach more Jedi. You know? It's like
yeah.
I would have liked it more if they had followed through with that. And damn it, I was going to say something else, but I completely lost my train of thought. I'm trying not to talk too much in circles too, cuz I know I keep kind of mentioning the same shit,
No, no,
but
no. It's okay. There's a lot to talk about with it.
um
Well, I think
yeah.
while you gather your thoughts, I'm sorry if I lose you completely now, but I think
No, you're good.
that's actually one of the things where a lot of people I've seen talk about this movie would say like what they had hoped had happened is Rey had taken Kylo's hand, and then
Yeah.
we had this gray order, this you know, because like the thing I liked, the thing that I this is the thing. George Lucas is always about, you know, it's poetry, it's poetry. This was the first time we actually finally saw Skywalker rule everything. And I was like, you know what? That's cool. What's going to happen next? And but at the same time I was like, I don't want Rey to be this new Jedi Order. I wanted what I really hoped. Like, if you want to move on from the Last Jedi, let me know. But like, I'm just gonna say
No, you're good.
what I had hoped, what my vision for the third movie was, is okay. Kylo's this extreme leader that people actually like. He's doing really, really well. Like, people look up to him. He's raising the First Order to be as big as the Empire, which actually, retrospective conversation. No explanation for the First Order. I don't have a grasp of how big they are. Like, I don't know anything about them as a military thing. Like, I don't know that. So maybe I'm totally wrong, but in my mind, from what I've seen, I'm just like, oh, the Empire's the biggest thing ever. Like, they're not gonna be the same thing. So in my head canon, I'm like, okay, third movie, Kylo's made the First Order the new Empire, like officially said that, and he's going through looking for artifacts or whatever information that Snoke was doing, and maybe even looking at what Luke was doing, and maybe trying to research the Force as a whole, and somehow found a way to realizing that, oh, I need to embrace both sides of it, maybe, or something. Whereas at the same time, I think it would have been cool if Rey was like, oh, Luke's right, the Jedi have had their faults, and I have all their ancient knowledge. Let me go back to their ancient knowledge and do a new order, but at the same time, I'm pulled to the dark, and I kind of like Ben, maybe we can get along. I think, but it's funny to talk about because the execution of it, I still don't have a way of doing it properly, because there's like 3 different scenarios that I can come up with in my head that would have made the story, and I don't know if any of them would have been great, which is kind of harkening back to the whole thing as a whole, is that it wasn't planned out. So I don't know if having a plan would have benefited, but at the same time, with the story that they gave us, I kind of feel like no matter what they had done, dude, at the end of the day, it wouldn't have mattered, because it's like, why did they tell it to begin with? Kinda.
Yeah.
It's hard to accept, because it's like, Lucas's sequel trilogy was going to go into like the microbiotic level of the Force with the wills and stuff, and like he even said like fans would have hated it, but at least we would have had something different completely from everything else, And that's the problem, I think, right off the bat. Yes, they set up this awesome movie, but at the same time, where were they going to go? Like, and that was the one thing I actually hated the most about The Last Jedi, is like, it was almost, I don't want to say beat for beat Empire, but there were so many similarities to Empire, and there was actually also so many similarities to Jedi with the throne room scene, and like overseeing, oh, your fleet and all your friends are gonna die, blah blah blah, and then let me go save my friend here because I believe in him, even though you don't. I was like, come on, really? I already had enough with the second Death Star, the third Death Star already. Just like, fuck off, guys, give me something new. But
exactly.
And then that's the thing too. It's like, it's weird because it's like The Last Jedi is like trying to do something different, but at the same time not doing anything different. But at the same time, it is. It's like, I'm so confused. But anywho,
and that's what I have to call out too. Is people are like, oh, it's like cool because it's different from Empire. It doesn't go how it goes. And I'm like, the fuck it does. Yoda didn't want to train Luke either. Like, Yoda had to be convinced to train Luke too. It's like, same thing. Rey's training with Luke or whatever. Luke was training with Yoda, and like you said, there's the Hoth battle, like on Crate, and there's the throne room, like Jedi. It's Empire and Jedi smashed together. Yeah. With like 1 or 2 changes. It's like, come on, fuck your chicken strips. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, it's false. False advertising to say that it's not the same. It's like, get fucked.
No, I know, man. It's like
so, and it's so weird. It's like, man. I know I'm really. I've shat on The Last Jedi a lot tonight.
I expected that.
And I still really don't like it, but it's like I said earlier. There is good stuff there, and but overall, it's just I don't know what to attribute it to. It's like, is it really because they didn't have a plan and they just wanted each director to do their own thing? It's weird because I think Ryan has a sole writing and directing credit. Like the other films were co-written, they had help from someone else, right?
Yeah.
But I think if it's just him, it's kind of like a prequel situation where it was literally only George writing and directing the films. Like he didn't have any input. He didn't have anyone to help flesh out the ideas and the dialogue and the story. So like I don't know. Like maybe that's for someone. I don't know, man. It's such a weird thing. It's such a weird beast. I'm with you. I'm confused. I'm still
Yeah.
confused.
But you want to know currently in my current state of mind after only seeing Rise of Skywalker twice in theaters, which I want to
Oh, you
comment.
saw it twice. I didn't know you saw it twice. I only saw it once so far.
Well, I don't know how you feel about this, but what I was gonna say is in the past I always have seen the last two movies three times, and
Wow.
I have no desire to see it a third time right now.
Yeah. I
I,
don't have a desire to see it twice. I'm still only on one view. And dude, it's weird because Last Jedi I saw like four times in the theaters because I
yeah,
kept waffling on it. You know?
yeah, yeah.
I was like, what is this movie? And I did. I saw it. I saw Force Awakens five times,
Nice, nice.
and I saw Last Jedi four. I remember very specifically. I saw it opening night with my friend Ian. I saw it again by myself. I saw it with my dad, and then I saw it. I think I saw it with some other friends for a fourth time because I couldn't. I was just in shock, I guess. But anyway, that's another thing.
No,
But yeah, like Rise of Skywalker, that this is gonna be kind of its own thing. It's like I guess I saw it once and I'm like, okay, I get it. And
yeah.
it's funny. I've kind of mentioned this to you on chat before, but like Rise of Skywalker is its own crazy mess, and we'll get
Yeah.
into it. But to kind of just to kind of say like seeing it the one time kind of put the whole trilogy in perspective for me, right?
Yes,
Where it's
yes.
like it made me realize that it's all a mess anyway. Like it wasn't planned, like it's fine, but that's okay because like they're just movies. I keep using the same metaphor when I talk about it and how like you know the first two Terminator movies are beloved, and
Yeah.
they've made a bunch of Terminator movies afterwards that people really just disregard,
Hmm.
like no one talks about, and it's like they're not canon to a lot of people. It's like whatever. Same
Yeah.
thing with Aliens. It's like Alien 1 and 2 were great. No one talks about the others. They exist, but that's just what they are. They're just movies in the same world, right?
Yeah.
RoboCop, same thing, right?
Yeah.
And it made me. It's like this new trilogy is kind of the same way. They're just movies. They don't really connect themselves to the movies we love. Like I can kind of enjoy them in a vacuum, right?
In the vacuum.
Like as
Yeah.
their own thing. It's like there's good and bad to each movie, and it's like on their own, it's like they're kind of silly movies that are just one-offs, but they're still enjoyable.
Yeah.
Detached from the originals, they just don't stack up in the first place. Like they don't
No.
stack up at all. So why even have them in the same conversation? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of it's like how Terminator 3. It's like what the fuck? It ended at T2. Like why
Yeah.
make any movies after T2? You know what I mean?
Well, I agree.
It's kind of like and it a lot of it has to do with headcanon, right? And
That's true.
it's like it's fine. Everyone has their own headcanon, but like and that's kind of where I've gotten to with this trilogy. It's like yeah, I'll keep shit talking Last Jedi, but at the end of the day like I it's still it's fine. it's a silly movie they made after the fact that doesn't really connect with what I know and love, so I can just enjoy it on its own with its own merits. And that's kind of how the whole trilogy is, because they're individual movies that they don't even connect to each other, let alone the whole thing. You know what I mean?
I know.
So it's like, man, dude, like it's just wild. But like going back to seeing Rise of Skywalker, that just contextualized it for me and made me be like, okay, like whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is too, you know what bothered me the most
Yeah.
is I was just hoping, like JJ had just said, all right, let me go off of what Johnson did, which
Yeah.
he really didn't.
No, not even a little bit. The only thing he carried over was like the Force Bond.
The Force
stuff.
Bond, yeah, the Force Bond.
Literally everything else he wrecked
There,
from Johnson's movie.
there was something else, actually, that I was thinking about a little while before we were talking about this movie. That I was like, oh, let me remember, because this is literally the only other thing besides the Force Bond. Fuck, what was it? I can't even remember. But it just was like, I thought that the pacing of The Force Awakens was fast, and then like on second viewing and third viewing and stuff, like I got used to it. I'm like, oh, you know what? It's funny. Let me just add to that conversation.
Yeah.
When we first saw Poe and Finn flying the TIE fighter, escaping from the Star Destroyer, whatever the hell they're called in the new films,
Yeah.
and they're flying through and shit, I'm like, this is really fast. Like, I almost got, not motion sickness, but I was just like, whoa, this is really hard to follow. It was like trying to track the soccer ball on a tiny TV at a bar. I couldn't follow it. But upon second and
It's
third
like
viewing,
Whiplash. Yeah.
yeah, because like the original films and even the prequels, dude, it was like there was a nuance to it. It was exactly like how George wanted it, with like a World War II kind of flight type of thing, in these movies it was just like, oh my god, we're on Adderall. It was just too much. But
Yeah.
but and then I got used to it. But I think that kind of lends to the whole idea of modern film and how much it's changed. It's like it's all this fast-paced action. You can't have a moment of dialogue or a moment of peace or talking, because it will slow down the film and people will lose interest. And I think that's what JJ fails at doing as a director. He just thinks that people will lose interest unless he's doing something interesting. And that's that's actually something that I didn't realize until the other day. Someone pointed out in a video, like, have you seen Super 8?
Yes, I have seen Super 8.
There's a
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you see the Mahler video?
No, I didn't watch the Mahler one yet.
Unbridled Rage? Oh, okay, never mind.
No.
Wait. No, that was in another video. I know the one you're talking about. It's the, like, I hate J.J. Abrams one, right?
I don't know. I've seen so much recently, but it's the one where they're talking about, like, and I'm sorry if I highly doubt whoever this is will ever watch this stream, but they're talking.
You never know.
You never know. I know. So shout out to you. I'm sorry. They're talking about how JJ cannot just have a moment to let things breathe, and it's true, because even in Super 8, there's a scene where he's like, "Oh, the biggest problem with the Rise of Skywalker is it's exposition over plot, and there's no."
Right. No scenes, just plot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And in Super 8, he has a scene where the characters are all gathered in a circle and they're telling each other, like, oh, the government's doing this back at home. What's going on? I don't know, someone with an alien in a train. So, JJ's like, these characters are talking, but instead of just letting them talk, he's like, let's pan the camera around the whole group of kids to keep it engaging, which I actually think is really cool. It's a great shot, and I totally agree with him. It kept the action flowing, but the problem is, like, dude, you need moments to breathe sometimes. Like, A New Hope, Luke has a moment to sit down and talk to Obi-Wan, and it's really just like one or two camera shots,
yeah, exactly.
But
or the scene in the Falcon when Han is there and they're talking about whether the Jedi, whether religion's real or not, and Luke's like training and learning about the Force. It's like, yeah, like we don't get very many moments like that in any of these movies.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
But
like
I
I'm
th
with you.
I think at the same time, because I've grown up in this era and I'm more used to the films from these days, for me, actually, it's funny, this is gonna sound totally sacrilegious, but for a while, I was actually like really thinking this trilogy might be better than any of the other trilogies. Well, at first, when I saw the First Awakens, I was like, "Ooh, it's modern Star Wars. I'm cool with this. Where are you gonna go?" But that's the thing. It didn't meet my expectations. It didn't go where I wanted it to. Um,
Yeah, I
and
feel you.
but I was cool with it. I was like, yeah, it's fucking fast paced and it's crazy and there's no time to breathe. But at least the Force Awakens did have the moments to breathe. It did have the Maz scenes. It did have the Falcon scene with Han. It did have these moments, so I was cool with it.
Yeah.
And it even had the scenes with Ben and Snoke. If you want to think about it, they breathed. It was exposition, but
Yeah, that's true.
you know.
Yeah, you got a point. You're right.
I think the pacing in the Force Awakens was better. And that's now I think we can move on to what I was saying about the Rise of Skywalker. The pacing is
Yeah.
fucking
Okay.
trash. It is so bad.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's like
God.
it's like right on, right. And I'm sorry, but dude, that is an embarrassment of a title crawl. It is not a Star Wars film. It is a fan fiction. The dead speak. Palpatine.
Dead speak.
Palpatine's like transposing his speech across the galaxy. What are you? What? Show me this. How? What the fuck is going on? And
I know.
I think that Palpatine. First off, I was never a fan of Palpatine coming back in Legends. I was never okay with that. I thought it was
Yeah.
a cheap cop out. I was like, you
I
guys
agree.
can't think of something else. But at the same time, Thrawn was cool, but he wasn't as interesting. I think the only really interesting thing that they had was the Yuzong Vong. I'm sorry. Like I liked I can't think of his name. He was like a Cyclops guy who like was really adamant about getting Darth Vader's glove.
Oh yeah, not Sizor. That was the guy from Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah,
Was that his name? Shizor, something like that.
something like that.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I wasn't as much into that either. I did like Thrawn, and I really like Yuzhen Vong.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think I remember I'm with you because I didn't read all of it, but I think I
Same.
found the comic where the Emperor was cloned too, and that didn't really do it for me either.
Yeah.
So
No.
I'm with you there. I think the notion of the Emperor coming back at all was pretty whack from the get-go. Right?
Yeah.
And God, I mean, okay, so I real quick, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Because we're only just now getting into Rise of Skywalker,
Get
and I feel like that's gonna go off way, on its own thing, and I want to do it justice, right? And I think, I don't know, how would you feel about splitting this up and coming back to Rise of Skywalker for its own kind of discussion on another evening?
I think that's fair. I think
What do you think?
I think I think we can make like a quick talking point of the whole thing and then really dive into it if you want for like 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
'Cause
Let's do that.
I know for me, I also feel like I need to actually like read it again or see it again because
Yeah.
it's not as fresh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because there's a lot, man,
There's a
and
lot.
there's a lot I want to say after talking about Rise of Skywalker. There's gonna after that, those points get out of the way. There's gonna
Yeah.
be quite a bit more I have to say about the rest of the trilogy.
agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah, we should totally we'll touch on it, but I think the real meaty stuff, I'm down to table for another time. What do you think?
Absolutely agree with you for sure.
Awesome. So
I just was
all
gonna
right,
like
let's hear it.
the only thing I really wanted to say, and then we can really, we can end it whenever you want. Is just that I think when I saw what they were doing with Palpatine in the movie, like, yes, I don't think they executed it perfectly, but like what the ideas they presented to me, I was actually kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of could get with this, because they were like diving into the. That's the thing. They dove into lore that I didn't think Disney was capable of diving into. I was like, okay, they're diving into stuff dealing with the cloning from Dark Empire and the Sith magic and stuff from the Old Republic era, and I'm like, ooh, they're diving into some like meta shit here that I'm like, whoa, okay, it wasn't,
Yeah.
I, and okay, the only am I still here? Oh, I thought I smacked my cord. I thought I disconnected. The other before I forget, and we'll talk about this on the Rise of Skywalker
Before
thing.
I forget, I was a creed. Sorry.
You're good. Is I actually saw someone's comment on Reddit today that said that they would have liked it better if Rey had just been an experiment all along rather than an actual bloodline, and those are my two biggest gripes with this film, because those are the two biggest things going into it that I was hesitant about, and from the get-go I was like, okay, maybe Rey. I was actually really on board with the Rey Palpatine theory. It was one of the top ones for me, like I said originally. But I never thought she was actually blood related. I thought that she was a creation of him. I thought that,
gotcha. Like another vergence of the Force, maybe.
Yes, kind of thing. And like you played Battlefront 2, right? Like the campaign and stuff.
Yeah. With the Cinder, Operation Cinder or whatever.
Yes, yeah. And for me, I was like, ooh. He had an observatory on Jakku. He was doing something going on. He had this secret thing with Operation Cinder that I never heard of before. What's going on? And that's a justification that a lot of people are saying, like, oh yeah, Disney was thinking about it from the beginning because of this. And I'm like, possibly, but I think there are two things. I think that Disney was thinking, maybe we'll make her a Palpatine, or maybe we'll make her a nobody, so we're going to set up possibilities for both.
For both. Yeah.
And then maybe just see whichever is more rewarding. That's wholeheartedly what I think. But those are the two things that I was the most hesitant about, and one of them kind of worked for me, which being Palpatine's resurrection. I was like, okay, he even says he was dead, so maybe he came back through some weird black magic, Sith alchemy, cloning ritual, whatever. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But they didn't explain it, so I was pissed. But what I absolutely hated was that she was a Palpatine.
Oh no. Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's it's weird. I think her being a Palpatine would work a lot better for me if Palpatine wasn't in the movie.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
100%.
I think her finding that out, because and that's the thing, going back to how it was set up in Force Awakens, she was super obsessed with waiting on Jakku for her family. She was that was her whole plight, was figuring out her family, and even going into Last Jedi, because remember seeing when she went to the cave, the dark side cave, she talks to the mirror, and the only question she asks is, show me who my parents are, right? Just show me my parents. So you get the idea that she has this real attachment to what her lineage is, or at least what her family's going to end up coming back to her for if she was still on Jakku, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the idea of her potentially being linked to the baddest dude in the galaxy is really interesting to me, but it would only be interesting, or it would be more interesting if it was an internal thing and not something she had to actually confront Palpatine about, because that's bullshit. 'Cause, that's no good. But if he's out of the picture, then you get the idea of I was gonna say ghost, but I don't mean that in a literal sense. I mean a metaphorical, the ghost, the shadow of Palpatine still looms.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But not literal, right? Not
agree.
like he's actually like a shadow, his influence is still felt.
Yes.
After all this time, and that's a really cool thing, especially with how interested Rey was in finding her family in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
if that's the only place that she finds her like family is in the lineage of the Emperor, like there's so much potential there, but only if he's actually not in the picture. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like I really don't mind that, but I am with you. I think Emperor Palpatine returning in the flesh to any extent was really lame, and I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with you there for sure. But like I said, her being a Palpatine, I would be on board with if he was out of the picture.
No, that's the thing. That was the thought that I had right away. I was like, exactly that, dude. Was if he wasn't in this movie, and that was what was going on, that would have made it more important. But
yeah,
and that's
and also going off of the experiment thing, I'm with you there too, because when The Force Awakens came out, I was thinking that Rey was going to be a clone of Luke, cloned from Luke's hand. Right?
Yeah.
Because they oh god, that's the thing, is another thing that they didn't answer was Maz Kanata saying that she was, oh, how'd you get that lightsaber, Maz Kanata? She's like, a good question for another comic book or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like, exactly. I really thought that when they said that line in the movie, that was going to mean something and it was going to come back. And it's like, oh, like she knows Rey because she retrieved the hand and like knows about Rey being cloned from Luke's hand or something like that. You know what I mean?
That was a huge theory, yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, maybe that was a tying back to Palpatine. That could have been something that he set up, right?
I agree.
Like he somehow got Luke's hand, or it doesn't have to be Luke's hand, but his DNA or something, because that would answer why Luke's lightsaber had such a strong call to her, right?
It would have been.
So,
it would have tied Dark Empire and everything together, dude. In my opinion, it would have just been like, yeah, he cloned Luke, and there was a dark evil Luke that Luke had to beat. Cool. Again, I hate that shit, but like at least if they had gone there, it would have made sense,
right?
With what they were doing, And I'm sure we've had this discussion before, but I don't remember if it was actually verified or if it was just a rumor. But there was a talk that the original opening shot of The Force Awakens was Luke's hand floating through space.
Yeah, I remember reading that too.
Yeah, so I think if they had gone with that, I would have been like, yeah, that's understandable. It's all there. It's all set up. Like, that's the thing. Like, these movies can go whatever direction they want to go with crazy ass shit to come up with, if they sell me on it. And the way they could have sold us is showing us the evidence from the get-go. And the problem with this trilogy is they showed us so much different ideas from the get-go and from the middle section, and then even the third section. It's just like, it's so convoluted. There's so many different ideas that it's obvious to me that Disney was just throwing shit out there to see what stuck.
Yeah, big time.
But
big time.
I don't know. A lot of the cool thing is, though, a lot of the theories and stuff that people speculated about in some ways did end up being a thing. It's just that they weren't how we thought, and that's the thing I want to kind of. I'll try to wrap it up soon here, but the last thing I kind of really want to say is I felt like The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker was a fan film. I felt like it was pulling, it was pulling
100%
from all these Reddit theories and all these things that they thought people wanted to see, and just made it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how it plays out. It plays out like a straight up fan fiction with with all the pandering and the attempt to explain some stuff, and it's like, man, it really does, like, beat for beat, that is a straight up fan fiction. You know what I mean? And it's I'm totally with you, and it's man, oh boy, it's God, it's such a weird movie. What a weird time it is to be a Star Wars fan. You know what I mean?
I know, we have some really good stuff with The Mandalorian.
We really do. Mandalorian's great. I know you haven't played it yet, but I really love Fallen Order.
Oh, I've started it. I've only gotten to
Oh,
like.
good.
Thank you. I've only gotten a little bit. I did the first planet. I got through Dathomir, and now I'm on Zaffo. So I haven't, or Zepho, or whatever it said. So
Oh, sick, dude. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
thank you. Yeah, no, I just recently started. I got it for Christmas, and then I haven't played games in like 2 weeks, so it's been a little while.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I do.
Man, I
Yeah.
hope you like it, dude, because I love that. I beat it over the holiday break there,
Nice.
and I love that game. I was so stoked with how it wrapped up, the story and the gameplay and everything.
Oh,
And so that's a good Star Wars in my book. So I hope you dig it as much as I did, man, because that's where it's at.
I'm excited to beat it now because then we could talk about that too. Because like I like it. I haven't gotten enough into it to really give any input. But
Yeah, I feel you. And I know those aren't the kind of games that you typically play either.
true. Yeah.
I know, which I totally get, because um, but yeah, let me know, because there's definitely a lot of stuff I want to talk about with that game
Oh,
in
for
particular.
sure, for sure. And but it's cool. Like from what I've played, it's like they're doing stuff with like background history and lore and interesting things to talk about. I'm like, oh, this is great, you know. And the Mandalorian is just so well written, and it kind of makes me say what I think I've been saying from the beginning is, why didn't Dave Filoni just do this trilogy?
I know, I know. He's proven himself. He's done so
Yeah.
well. Um, I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine. I would really like to get Kathleen, JJ, and Ryan like in a room together, like just us, and literally just ask each and every one of them, what were you thinking?
I think for
What was the
Kathleen,
plan? What the heck was going on?
there
You know
was
what I mean?
there was yeah. I mean, I think for Kathleen, she just wanted to pull in whoever was hot director at rebooting franchises at that time. It happened to be JJ with Star Trek, and then
Yeah.
um, but the thing with like The Last Jedi, it's like they announced a new trilogy just for Ryan Johnson before The Last Jedi even came out. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be great. I can't wait.
I know. And I don't know why. I guess they did that to hype up Last Jedi, to be like, look, this guy did really well with this, so we're giving him his own trilogy. And it's like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
I think they just really, really, really supported and believed in that product, and they didn't think it was gonna be that negatively received by the fans.
Man, I can't see how, because man, what a mess.
I know.
Ugh. And it's like, it's weird, because like you look at that, but then you look at all the other directors they fired from other projects, and it's like something doesn't add up. You know what I mean?
Something's
I think
very
we've
fishy.
talked about that before. How they fired Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Hmm.
They edged out Gareth Edwards at the end of the Rogue One production. They
Hmm.
fired Colin Trevorrow. They fired the Game of Thrones guys. They
Yeah.
fired Josh Trank. They brought on. There was rumors that they brought on that James Mangold guy who did he did Logan in 310 to Yuma, but
Oh,
that didn't go anywhere. You remember that? That was, I don't know if it was
vaguely.
official. I don't know if it was an official statement, but there was at least rumored. But then like that didn't go anywhere. So it's like, man, what, like, I don't know. I don't know.
Same.
That's I can't wait until like 10 years from now when someone makes a documentary about this era of Star Wars and like all the behind the scenes drama and like everything's like revealed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I hope
man,
they do.
I know, because that's the more interesting bit to me is what the hell has been going on behind the scenes. Woof.
I know. Well,
But
do you want to leave that and the aftermath discussion and the summary of the Rise of Skywalker for the next video?
yeah, man, I think so. I
Alright.
think we've said mouthfuls, and I
know.
think we have like 8 more mouthfuls to say.
I know.
So,
It's true.
because God, the Rise of Skywalker is just so, it's a whole beast, man. And like, And I'll just say this, that I did overall, like, I was okay with the movie. Like, I did find some enjoyment of it, but only because of what I said earlier about how it, like, recontextualized the whole thing to be like, it doesn't matter, just do whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Which isn't a good
So
thing though. It's just
it's not. It is, but it's not. You know,
right,
and
right.
and I'll get more into it next time. But you know, and maybe I'll be able to explain myself better next time. But yeah, I do agree with you. It really, it's not what it should have been, but it's kind of like you know, it is what it is. Like, take what we have, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Because
yes.
like another thing I'd love to do is like we can have a video where we kind of talk about, maybe after all the Rise of Skywalker thoughts have gotten out, we can talk about maybe how it should have been or how we would have
100%.
wanted it to go. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, no,
like if
100%.
you and I were canon boys, canon masters, um, we'd have been like, here's Act 1, 2, 3 of the new trilogy. You know, go. You know what I mean? Like,
I
and
agree.
that'd be pretty rad. That'd be a good time to me too.
Oh,
So
oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Because I mean, like, I know I touched about it a little bit with like how I thought Kylo should be pursuing. I'm just saying if the Force Awakens existed, because I think that's a hard thing to start. I really do, and I have to praise JJ for it. I think he had to do something relatively safe and relatively familiar to
yes,
people, but I don't think he should have
I
done
agree.
exactly the New Hope. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think basically the whole framework of the Force Awakens works for me, except for Skywalker base or Starkiller base.
Yes.
Um,
Same.
that's about where it's like, okay, it's too similar. Like, can we do something else? But
Yeah.
you know, that'll be, you know, we'll get deeper into that
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
But
dude. We'll
man, what a blast though this has been, my dude.
Oh, dude, I know. I'm so happy. I love you, man. I've been having such a good time. It's great to hang out with you again, and I miss this.
Yeah,
It reminds me of I was telling Shay
miss you,
actually.
dog.
I was telling Shay, you know, when we did the Ben and Johnny video game extravaganza 5000. I was like,
Oh man, oh that's such a good time, bro.
I got to dig up that video. But I was telling her, you know,
Yeah, it's somewhere.
yeah, I think it's on my Mac, dude. So I don't even think it's on the internet. It's on like my Mac.
Oh, I have the video backed up some. It's on a hard
Same.
drive, I know. So
Yeah.
it's definitely somewhere. But yeah, sorry, go on.
No, no, you're good. I was just telling her that you know, what I always liked is like you and I were able to really talk deep about things, and you always said what I was thinking that I couldn't put
Yeah.
words to. So I'm like, I
Oh,
love talking with Ben. He has a way of really talking about shit I like.
oh, same to you, man. And
Thanks.
oh yeah, it's always fun because we have a pretty, we have the same wavelength on pretty much everything,
Yeah.
and you help me see some new stuff too. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, man, like yeah, that for sure. That we this is very beneficial for me, and like
Same.
you said, even going back to the old days, it's like, yeah, man, like we talk good shit, you know.
For hours we used to too. Yeah.
Yeah, for hours, man, no joke. And
Ah.
thank goodness you're here too to help like wrangle me back when I go on saucy rants about Last Jedi.
No, you're good. I love the saucy
Because
rants.
as you've seen, I can go off my hinges, but I can count on you to bring me back, kind of thing. So
Absolutely. And I'm gonna just let you know, and I don't even know if anyone's listening anymore, but we had some people, which is cool.
oh yeah,
I'm gonna leave it on Twitch. I think it stays on Twitch for a couple of days, but I'm also gonna upload it to my YouTube channel, so it's like there forever.
yeah, do it. Because yeah, this will be fun to go back to for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And then I'll send out the link and whatnot. But
Yeah, man, for sure.
it's actually really easy. I'll put it on this. Oh shit! I didn't mean to click on that. I'll put it on the
Yeah,
I'll put it on the stream for everybody. It's I think it's yeah, it's where's my thing? It's youtube.com/user J1nflow. That's what it is.
ooh, J1 and Flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
user. Yeah, but J1 and and it's just FLO. Yeah, 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 that's it. I'll bring that shit up. Yeah, yeah, there it is.
Sick.
But yeah, dude, I look forward to doing this again. We'll we'll try to plan a time whenever, because I think that the next video is probably going to be just as long.
Yeah, if not longer, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and we'll dive into the Rise of Skywalker, retrospectively everything, and then I think, yeah, I totally agree. I think we should discuss what we would have done with the trilogy, and go from there.
Yeah, man. I'm totally in 100%. Let's do it.
But yeah, man, thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, man, such a blast. Thanks again for everything, and God, I can't wait for the next one. I really can't.
Same, dude. I'll talk to you. I'll message you. I'm gonna probably say we could do it again next week this time or something if that works. Whatever.
Yeah, the next few nights I'll be wrapped up. But I'll let you know as soon as I'm free for sure. And when you get some time to let me know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and actually, if we're still streaming, you can go ahead and we can call that off, and
Oh
then
yeah, let me
I'll
kill it. Let me kill it.
yeah, you're good.